Welcome to Why We're Fans. I'm Duran, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Gennaro.
In all of our episodes, we cover the past, present, and the future of all your favorite NFL football teams.
We love hearing your stories, talking the NFL draft, and reminiscing about the good old days.
If you like the same, be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this episode. And leave a comment below if you want to answer any of our questions.
Follow us on Twitter to stay up to date on our latest interviews. And like we always say, win or lose, we're all fans. Enjoy this episode.
Welcome back, everybody. We have a brand new season. We'll call it a new season, Duran. How about that? Of Why We're Fans. The podcast, about the fans, for the fans, by us, two fans, two cousins of both the Niners and the Cowboys, which is, some might say, they're rivals. I think that rivalry is a little bit dead. Maybe revamped as of last year's playoffs.
Maybe this year. Maybe this year.
Two top defenses. It's amazing to see. It's great, man. How are things going since the last time I talked to you on here?
Good, man. Both of our teams are kicking ass. We're at the top of the NFC, and we're right in the middle of the football season. We don't usually do many of these in the middle of the football season just because everyone's so busy, but I'm having a ball, man. Favorite time of the year.
We're having a ball. My voice is finally back. It might still be a little bit hazy, but I was at the game on Sunday. Man, what a gang. What a game, man. Bang, bang, Niner gang for sure. Jimmy went down. It was a little bit bittersweet because Brock, Big Cock, Purdy came in and he just fucking laid it down. He looked like a seasoned vet. It looked really good. Obviously some rookie mistakes going through, but it sounds like the team's behind him and I'm ready for it. It doesn't sound like some cheesy, he's our quarterback now, next man up. It sounds like, they're a big family. It's a big tightness. So I'm excited about that. Niner gang all day, baby. But without further ado, you ready to bring in our guest?
Let's bring him in. He's a Niner fan anyway.
He's a Niner fan as well. We're not only connected through that. I mean, our families go back before that. I mean, I probably knew this guy when he was swimming, if you know what I'm saying. Our families go back. I mean, hell, I got his mom tattooed on me right here. Love this kid. Without further ado, Polo Greco. How's it going, my man?
What's happening, guys? Thank you for having me. I'm super pumped to be here. And what's happening, man?
Not a whole lot, man. So, Polo, if you want to go ahead and shout out any kind of projects you're working on or what you're doing right now, have at it. Here's your time, man. Shout yourself out. Hype yourself up, man.
Thank you. I'm Polo Greco, everybody. I'm a co-founder of a creative marketing and social media management agency called Force Media, based out of Rohnert Park, California. We basically just run social media accounts and do all the photo, video, graphic design, animation, content creation necessary for them. And then I also podcast too. I have a podcast, video podcast. I'm a co-host on called Spitballers. It's on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all the platforms. And that's basically all I do right now. I try to do less to do more, if that makes sense.
I love that, man. That's awesome, man. What a name for that podcast too. Kind of Spitballers. It says without, it means without saying, spitballing, kind of going out the mouth. And, I've listened to a couple episodes and man, it's great podcast. Give them a follow. We'll put all the information below in the links in the description of this episode. So, give them a follow.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you, guys.
Perfect. Let's dive in, G.
All right. So we're going to dive in. The hat's backwards, so means business. Beer's open. Drinking on some Cooper's Keg Slay right now. Duran, what you got?
I got the Pliny double dry hopped.
The classic. Polo, you got anything drinking on?
I got H2O, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm supposed to go do a yoga chick with this girl, or yoga class with this girl I've been talking to right after, so I didn't want to get all boozed up.
Oh, there you go.
So I had to.
Water's essential.
Water for tonight.
Yeah, man. He's ready to hit hard like the water boy, Bobby Boucher. So
I smoked a little weed right before though with my coworkers, so I'm feeling tipsy in another way, so all good.
There you go. He's on cloud 9 right now, especially after this win. So Polo, we want to know, how did you become part of the faithful? How did being a 49er fan all start?
Well, I'm born just an hour north of San Francisco, so to me, it's important to just rep where you're from and your people and your city. And just being raised by a father with similar core values, right? Like that was just normal for me to do. It was actually, if I was to go be a fan of, actually, I remember one time when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, I had some money for Christmas and I bought an Atlanta Falcons snapback just because I thought it looked cool and matched my outfit. And I came home, my dad was like, "What the fuck, man? You got Atlanta Falcons snapback? Take that off." And he shamed me in front of my family pretty much for it. And that's where I like kind of learned, like, you got to represent and where you're from. So for me, it was always just second nature to represent the football team just closest to my city. And the Niners just happened to be the one that was just that happened with my family, I guess. But I always liked the Raiders when they were in Oakland too. I never hated on them. I always was like, hey, they're fucking cool too. We got to have the Bay Area represent as much as they can. So that's sort of where it originated from. I was born a Niners fan.
Nice. Your dad's a Niners fan too. Do you have any kids? How many generations do we got? What about grandma, grandpa, anything like that?
I got no kids. I'm pretty sure my dad's the first generation Niners fan through our family. My mom, very Mexican. Her parents were from Mexico, so they weren't watching football at all unless like it was on during Thanksgiving or Christmas, and they were just watching it like as a byproduct of the day, So really, just me and my dad, and we're kind of the only in my immediate family. We're kind of the only two football fans. Like my brother doesn't really fuck with it that much, and then I just have sisters and they don't really watch it at all. My brother-in-law does, so that's a cool bond we had right away from it. But one thing I discovered was, even though it was just me and my dad that liked it, when I'd go to holidays and stuff, my uncles and everything watched it, so I'd be building bonds with them, being the only younger kid who found an interest in this. So yeah, I hope I answered your question right there. Sorry.
Yeah, you did.
No, that was perfect, man.
What was the first Niners jersey? Do you remember?
Alden Smith.
Yeah.
He's a bad boy, dude. I was in high school and I was a bad boy too. So I told my dad I wanted the Alden Smith jersey. That was the year the Niners were pretty fucking good at that time.
Oh yeah.
That was when they
NFC
lost to the Ravens in the Super Bowl, right? I had Alden Smith.
He put on a hell of a show in those, what was it, year and a half that he was there.
Oh man,
a couple years actually, I want to say.
Well, I mean,
combined.
Yeah. Can it control the demons? I don't know if you remember, he actually was on Dallas most recently, got in trouble again out of the league.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is to like why you would fuck up that opportunity so often. I get once or twice, like the fame, the money, all of it happens to you at once. You're young, but like 9-10 times in a row after you've been given chance after chance after chance, similar to like a Josh Gordon.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's something I don't know what the mental barrier is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think with Josh Gordon it was demons. I think at the time weed was illegal in the NFL, but same with Martavis Bryant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just sucks because like he lost those prime years, and now he's like, well, it sucks to say because I'm 34, but man, Josh Gordon's probably 34, and they say he's way past his prime. I'm like, oh shit, that's football old.
Yeah. Was he was just weed? He wasn't like other substances or trouble?
I think it was just weed.
On him at all then.
Yeah.
I think they need a little bit more cannabis in the NFL, honestly. That one dude.
Like, you see a lot of former players like promoting weed now. Like the most famous one is one of my favorite players of all time, Ricky Williams. He has his own strain. He has his own company now. It's called Heisman. He's killing it with that. Same with Carson Palmer. Yep. He has his own one as well.
They're leaning that way. They're taking notes from the UFC.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the NBA is even a little bit more open to it nowadays too.
I think they were the first one. Like they were the first like major league to accept that. I think baseball. I don't know if baseball is like there yet.
I don't think baseball cares. When's the last time you heard someone get suspended for weed in baseball?
That's very true. That's very true.
They don't care.
It obviously helps people with recovery. So, and it's not super detrimental.
It helps with your mental too. Like, honestly, like, look, I mean, earlier before the show, we were talking about MMA. I mean, obviously, one of my favorite fighters, even though he wouldn't have the best record, Nate Diaz.
Yep.
He suffers from social anxiety, like you can see.
Yep.
And weed helps him. You know what I mean? So, fuck it. You know,
I'll tell you, martial arts and marijuana are peanut butter and jelly. That
Mhm.
it's in my experience, it's more rare for someone to not smoke weed who trains every single day than for someone to smoke weed, because it is
I
so.
used to smoke weed before wrestling practice in college. And
Yeah,
sometimes
for
in high school.
jujitsu, yeah, I enter
Yeah.
such a state of flow when I start grappling.
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So we can go on for days about that. So
Yep. Sorry, guys.
Let's go back to that. You know, so Alden Smith, man, when he first got drafted, I remember that day. I was like, man, this guy's super young, and like that was actually one of the quotes that they put on his draft profile. He's like, he's just a puppy. But that year that he had, especially behind the cowboy Justin Smith, the Smith brother, they were the first Smith brothers before Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith in Green Bay. So
and Patrick Willis and Bowman.
Oh my God, that defense was so scary that year, and I loved it, man. Like Harbaugh, he changed the game. Bulky before he was a shithead that first year, like he made some good draft choices.
14 sacks as a rookie, followed it up with 19 and a half. Then
Eric Reed was a safety.
Eric Reed, he was
a stud.
Yeah, that was after Deshaun Goldson. Deshaun Goldson was a safety that year. But
Alex Smith days, Frank Gore.
Smith days.
I remember Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick, all that happening when I was in high school. That was crazy. Cap had the most promising looking future out of a young quarterback fucking for a minute. But
there's actually like I was sent a YouTube video by one of my good buddies about like all these like premier like game, I don't know, like game time, like this is like the way you lay the hammer time type plays, game saving plays for the 49ers. I'll send it to you for sure, but like you see like these Alex Smith against the Saints in the divisional one, like his run,
you mean Cap?
Great. Well, no, I'm talking about Alex Smith.
Oh, Alex Smith, okay.
Yeah, against the Saints, it was a quarterback. It was a designed quarterback end around. So pretty much he faked the handoff and he followed the pulling tackle, Joe Staley. And Joe Staley makes a crucial chop block downfield. And he does a little celebration, looks so corny. Everyone clams it for him. But it's like, damn, dude, those are the prime years that we had. But now with Kyle Shanahan's years, it's looking promising as well. That defense is looking killer, and the offense is, coming along, clicking along for sure. Yeah. But going back to it, I want to know like your earliest and like favorite like moment of like being a 49er fan.
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm assuming you don't remember the Super Bowl days.
No, I don't have very clear memories of that. Like my earliest football memories are watching. Who did the Steelers beat in like 2006, 2007, 2008 at one of my uncle's house for like Super Bowl parties?
The Cardinals?
The Cardinals, yeah. That's the earliest memory I have right now of like sitting down and watching a football game. But when the 49ers played the Ravens in that last Super Bowl, two Super Bowls ago that the Niners were in. Yeah. It was just it was right after my mom passed away, just a couple months, February. And it was just me, my dad, my brother, my cousin Mikey, who lived with us growing up a lot of years, who I consider my brother. Yeah. We were just eating Wingstop watching the Super Bowl. And even though they lost, my dad's older friend, his name was Eddie Prudenti. He passed away since. He's like this old mobster personality type. So he was there too. Even though they lost, it was cool just like sitting in the living room with them at the time and
you felt like part of the boys, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was a kid. They were all older, drinking, fucking. I'm learning game as someone who's 10 years younger than everybody in there that like most people my age weren't picking up. Just from a comfortable, laid back bachelor group of dudes.
Yeah.
And me, I'm really big on, especially now that I'm an entrepreneur. I'm fucking busy, 16, 17 hours of the day. I don't get to see my family as often as I'd like right now.
Yeah,
I really value that time just sitting down with them and spending time with them. So if I have to look back on my fondest memories specifically, it'd probably be that. But then if I go back to even the Super Bowl outside of a Niners game that I was talking about, that's even cooler because my entire family, like including my mom, her sisters, her brothers were there. So I have some football fucking brings people together, man.
Of course,
It
Playing
definitely
football
does,
is even
man.
a different story.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely does, man. I like that. You know, it's even though it was a loss for the 49ers, it was a bigger gang, and being, you know, around that, you know, being around your family, especially that hardship. You know, I felt it with you, you know, for sure.
Word.
So, you know, that's a really good, you know, heartwarming story for sure. Um, you know, especially, I don't know, it's weird. I it's like not being part of the boys, but man, it's like it's just a deeper bond, especially like, you know, filling out with your family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's definitely cool, like watching, like remember watching football, like even with my, you know, cousin Duran here, like we went to a Cowboy 49er game. You could see it in the picture that's in the rolling credits of this opening credits of this show. Actually, you know, there's a picture of us.
Yeah.
You know, that was our first game we went to. It We lost, the 49ers lost, and then that was the game where Navarre Bowman tore his Achilles, I believe.
Oh,
But the bond that, you know, me and my cousin shared there, it was just like, fuck, dude, this is so awesome, man. Like, you know, being to this game. It brings me to our next question. Have you ever been to a game? Like, do you remember your first game?
I haven't yet, man. I haven't. I was just thinking about that as you were saying that.
We
But I've been
we
talking
gotta go
about
to a
it.
game together, man.
I'm down, bro. I'm down. That'll force me to actually go do it. I've been talking about it actually because I work 7 days a week right now, and I got a team of like 7 guys that we work with who are also working 7 days a week right now. So on Sundays, we got a few TVs in our office. We got fucking red zone on every single one of them.
Oh yeah.
And so we're constantly talking about like, we should go to a game. We should go to a game. And I'm thinking about actually getting it as like a Christmas present for everybody.
There you go.
But even like just reflecting, it's not my earliest best memory, but these like Sundays when we're working are much more enjoyable. Just having that shit on, fucking talking about it. Like I'm a Chargers fan, or I'm a Niners fan. Tyler's a Chargers fan. Our guy Arrow is a fucking Chiefs fan. So we're always fucking bullshitting with each other back and forth about that. And I definitely got to go to a game though.
Yeah, you definitely got to go a game, like film that environment. Like we were
Tailgate.
Yeah, we were tailgating. We were tailgating next to another guy, and he sees us drinking some craft beers. And it's funny because like he's like, "Oh, where are you guys from?" Then I told him we're from Santa Rosa. He goes, "Man, I love Pliny the Elder." And then, you know, I was like, "Oh, that's great." And he's like, "Oh man, here's a shot of Jameson for you." You know what I mean? So like we bonded with that. The people across the way from us ran their own like type of bar. Like if you're a 49er fan, you go up there and like you like name a player and they'll give you a shot of, and they have like Jameson, tequila. It was pretty cool, man. Like and like they had all these posters and these cutouts set up. So like he's like, "Hey man, like if I'm going to a game, I want to bring my man cave with me." So that's actually pretty cool. So they didn't even go into the game. They just wanted to go tailgate.
Oh shit.
Wow.
I've seen that before. They set up and they'll have
Mhm.
the red zone on or whatever, and I'll park behind them for a little bit in the parking lot.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was doing. Like I was kind of sitting there just like watching the red zone, like, oh man. But the cool thing about Levi Stadium is that they have TVs out there and you can see they play red zone.
Oh wow.
Oh, sweet.
On the big jumbotrons out there. So the whole time we were drinking, we're just like, oh yeah, wait. As soon as somebody gets in the red zone, like I got an update, like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is in the red zone. Like, okay, cool. He's my quarterback. Let's check it out.
Hell yeah. Tailgating in itself is a fucking vibe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep. In high school, I hung out in the student parking lot, drinking beer, smoking weed, doing shit I wasn't supposed to more than I was in class. And fucking as I was in my partying days, like I would have easily, if you just told me that idea when I was 19 or 20, that I could just go tailgate at a Niners in a Niners parking lot with a ton of people, my inner party animal was like, fuck yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Like my Sunday tradition right now is going to Cree's Tavern. Shout out to my boy Chris. It's actually his garage. He named Cree's Tavern. He you know, he has like, you know, like 6 of us. We're all Niners fan, just around the bar in there, and I'm playing bartender, but like we're all watching the game, and it's just awesome. You know, that vibe. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
It's great. You know what I mean? But like you can't actually being at the game, seeing the game. For
sure. Yeah, there's probably nothing like it. I definitely will experience that. But if you want to go to one, hit me up. We'll go to one, bro. I'm down.
Yeah, definitely. So Duran, you ready for the next one?
Yep, let's move on. We're ready.
So we're gonna ask you a question. Don't answer right away. So bite your tongue for a second. Me and Durant. You know what? In the beginning of the season, let's start a tradition. Durant at the end of like every 5, whoever gets the most right, got the next round at Cougars.
got it. Yep.
Or something. So let's keep tally right now. We want to know your favorite player. So we're gonna take a guess first. Durant, since I feel like you got a lot more right than I do so far, I'm gonna let you go first, my man.
Yeah, I feel like you're not the Steve Young generation. You're a little bit of a newer guy. Just like, I mean, I didn't watch much Steve Young either growing up, so I'm gonna go with the newer era. I'm going with Cap.
You're gonna go with Cap. All
Yep.
right. I'm gonna think that he remembers the glory days for sure. I don't think it's anybody recent, but I'm gonna say something where he actually remembered it. I'm gonna go Frank Gore.
Okay, 2 great ones.
And we're talking my favorite Niner, right?
Yep.
Of all time.
Of
Of all time.
honestly, Gore's a lot closer than Cap. Cap, I have controversial feelings about these days.
He's a
after some
controversial.
of his latest marketing projects.
He's a controversial guy.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm a big fan of George Kittle. I fucking
Oh
love
hell
that
yeah.
guy.
Okay.
Kittle's he's gangster.
Yep.
He's a dog.
And I love Debo too, bro. Debo's a fucking gangster. But I mean, Frank Gore. I almost want to say Frank Gore just because you got to respect the fuck out of that guy.
Yeah.
But the first person who came to mind was Kittle.
Kittle.
Yeah,
That's
man.
a good one, man.
Yeah, Kittle's a beast, man. It's being a 5th round draft pick out of Iowa who wasn't necessarily pass catching tight end, and he was kind of looked over by a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And just becoming along, being a beast, being that you can see him on the sideline, getting like he's the first one like on the sideline, kind of like being excited to see that defense. Like he always mentions, like, man, I'm so excited to see Fred Warner play. So excited to see Bosa. Our linebackers are just so crazy, and he's just that ultimate team guy.
Yeah,
and he was amazing to see. Live in person on Sunday, just because he didn't really go out for a lot of passes, but man, his blocking is just he takes pride in that. He's like, I'm gonna block you to the ground. I'm gonna drive you to the ground, make you know that I'm there, but I'm gonna help you pick up. It's like kind of like I just block you to the ground. Oh, let me help you up, little guy. It's like, oh, fuck you, dude. But like he makes you feel that, you know what I mean? Like he's a great dude.
A good blocker is fucking highly underrated in football too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Especially
an
tight tackle.
Yep.
Whenever I ask this question, I always think of, the classic, whatever, Steve Young, Joe Montana. I always think of those type of guys. And then I have notes for their style, the type of player they are, and then classic plays that I remember. I don't have anything on George Kittle, but I could already see it mapping out for his long hair, just his play style, how much of a beast he is.
His energy too.
Yeah. And I'll never forget the play against the Saints in the playoffs. It's like
4th and 2.
Yeah. He's carving out a huge role where there's going to be a lot of people coming up that are huge George Kittle fans, and this will be a common answer.
Yeah.
I can remember exactly where I was at on that play too. Like I was at my boy Vic's house in El Dorado Hills. The hometown of Ross Dwelly, the other tight end on our team. And I remember he caught that, and I was like, oh, he broke a tackle. He's gonna get that first down. And he kept on going, and he got a face mask. And I remember like this is when my boy Vic had a newborn, so we had to be quiet. So we're all just like jumping up and down, can't say shit. So we're honestly look like mimes, just like, you know what I mean? So like it was just an awesome play. That energy that you felt from him, he gives you it every single play.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Kittle will be there for a while. We know that, but do you have a player that you feel like is a little bit underrated? Could be a player that's retired or a current player right now that you think needs a little bit more love.
There you go. Good question.
Let me think for just a second.
G mentioned one. I'm just going to throw one out there. G mentioned one that I always think deserves way more. Justin Smith, man. Justin Smith, the Cowboy. You mentioned him earlier. He was definition of a dog. And
he does not get much love or recognition since retiring at all. I would I'd roll with him too.
Yep.
Yeah. That the stories that I hear about him too is like when he was in the weight room, he'd roll in there just with the lip in his mouth, his
Yeah,
country
yeah,
song
yeah.
strong.
Dipper.
Just and like he's like, man, like he'd take up every single 45 plate because he was just that strong.
Big
Like,
old grill master dad, Nike barbecue shoes,
Oh
dude,
yeah.
he-
blue jeans,
Like-
casual dude.
and like he was so like everyone said like hearing interviews like he was so excited to be around like Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, and Alden Smith, and then who else was it? It was Glenn Dorsey. You know, he's like, man, I love being around these guys so much. Like, it's so great, man. They're so awesome. Man, I love these guys so much. You know, and man, his celebration was just
Yep.
Yup.
just like Stone Cold Steve Austin lifting up the
Simple
title.
man.
You know what I mean?
Simple
That's
man.
all it was.
I'm looking at his stats right
The Cowboy.
now. 14-year career, 4-time Pro Bowl or 5-time Pro Bowl or 1-time All Pro. He definitely deserves more love, man.
You know what's
Drafted
funny?
by the
Actually,
Bengals
he's my
first round.
jersey.
Oh, was he? First
He's
Niners
actually
jersey?
my first jersey that I ever bought.
Bought
for
yourself?
myself.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've had a Steve Young jersey that was passed down, a Steve Young, Jerry Rice jersey that was passed down for me by my older brother. You know, but the very first one that I bought for myself was actually Justin Smith.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Let's move on a little bit. I think I know the answer to this one. Just because I think he's a stud, but we want to know your favorite 49ers coach of all time.
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh. Okay.
Harbaugh, okay.
I fucked with him, dude. Didn't,
Fuck with the khakis. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think
I
there's
feel like people don't win Super Bowls and they want to rebuild right away. They think there's a problem instead of just trying to fix the problems with the good group of people they had that got there. Like even
Yeah.
with Jimmy G, I think he gets a little bit of he gets a lot of hate
lot.
when he's done his job well enough the past few years to fucking get us to one Super Bowl and get us to playoffs. So maybe if we had a little bit more positive dialogue on the guy, he'd feel better about his performance and play a little bit better. But I think Jim Harbaugh had a similar story. I could be missing some elements of why they decided to move on too. But he seemed like a stud the whole time I watched him.
For sure.
Yeah,
And
I
they
know
were at the
moved
top
on.
of their game.
Yeah, I know they moved on because Trent Baalke was he was a dipshit, you know,
Mhm.
for sure.
I've
They
heard a couple
vibe well.
rumors of him coming back lately.
Yeah, I've been hearing rumors about that as well. I mean, he's killing it in Michigan. When he got it, he said that was my dream job. I think it was a couple years ago. He took one, I think it was actually the Colts interview, and it was just a drive up
Oh,
the
yeah, he
price
did.
for the Michigan one.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, this is my home. And like,
Yeah, he
what they're
got
doing
paid.
what they're doing in Michigan, like he's killing it. Still
Yeah.
rocking them khakis, and he's got a Pat. I'm gonna steal this from Pat McAfee. He said today he is coaching a pro team down there, and he is because like he's brought a lot of Michigan players that are still killing it today. You know, Josh Uche, Ambry Thomas, Donovan Peoples-Jones, man,
Taco Charlton.
Taco's still in the league. He's still killing it for sure. And he's
Yep.
coaching, which I thought this guy was going to be a Heisman candidate. Blake Corum, that running back number 2, is just fucking killing it, you know. And I think that Harbaugh is set where he's at. I don't want him in the NFL because I don't want to go against him because
Yeah.
he's one of my favorite 49ers coaches as well. My personal one is actually Steve Mariucci, only because I got to meet the guy like once, you know what I mean?
That's badass.
But yeah,
Listen-
man, Jim Harbaugh.
Listen to this. He Niners parted ways with him after 4 years, 44-19 record, no losing seasons, 3 playoff appearances, and a Super Bowl appearance. That was
Yeah.
tough. And you know,
It was
when he left that year, a lot of people left.
ask
Jed
any
York
Niner,
and Trent Baalke, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
ask any Niner fan today. They're gonna say, "Yo, fuck Trent Baalke," you know,
Yeah.
for sure. It's not fuck Jim Harbaugh. You know, there was nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, hell no.
And like everybody says, like I was listening to an interview with remember Alex Boone,
Yep.
big 75. He was saying like, man, our practices were so hard. He coached us so hard that I fucking loved it. And none of us were hurt. You can listen to, you know, Dante Whitner. He's actually an NBC analyst for the 49ers today. He talks about Harbaugh all the time. And You could tell, you can feel that love that they had for him, and like,
Yeah.
you know, it was set. Something was said for sure when he left, that the very next year, like every 49er retired, like
Mhm.
Patrick Willis,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Borland,
Oh yeah,
Justin
Chris
Smith.
Borland, bro.
Dude,
Yeah.
like a bunch of people just like walked away, cut me, fuck this, I'm out of here. It's like, shit. Our team was
Justin Smith,
better.
Borland, Anthony Davis, Frank Gore, Crabtree, Mike Upati,
No
Alden
wonder
Smith.
Cap fell apart, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No
Like, it
chance.
wasn't just like everything that he's, fighting for today. Is, man, like he had no help around him. He had no love around him. Like,
Yeah. My
Great team
favorite.
stems from great leadership. It's that simple. They create the culture and how people perform and play. All stems from that tone, that set,
yeah,
and fucking you see it live all the time. That's why Tom Brady's able to bounce team to team and make them great, because he knows how to create that culture and that buzz for people to want to show up, work hard, outwork everybody at that matter,
My favorite Harbaugh memory, real quick. Remember the handshake with Jim Schwartz?
oh yeah.
What do you do? Pat him on the back a little bit too much? He's a little bit too hyped up
like,
after the
you
win.
hit too hard. There was some regression behind that.
Chased
remember
him down.
Both teams were actually undefeated at the time, and it was Delaney Walker, I think, touchdown pass to the right on an out route. And I remember he was actually having a terrible game because he was dropping some easy passes, but he caught the hard one, scored the touchdown, and we won. But when they went in, like, he was like, you can tell, like, he's excited. Like, he looked like he coaches like how he played. Like, if you go back and watch how he played, like, he was so excited. He was like talking shit to the defensive lineman in the face. Like,
Like it.
It was great, man. Like, he's like, oh man, as soon as they won and everything, like the clock hit 0, like he's like jumping up with his players, giving his players a hand. Like, he lifted up his shirt and like, what are you doing? And
Hey,
then
Sirianni kind of has that energy now.
yeah, he has that dog in him.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
you like to see that dog, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more thing about Harbaugh, and if you have anything else, G, we can move on. But he wasn't in charge of the draft. He wasn't in charge of player personnel, as far as I know. Trent Baalke was. And during his 4 years there, they only drafted one Pro Bowl player, and that was Alden Smith. So just think of how much he maximized all that talent there with failing in the draft 4 years in a row. It's like, he's a special coach, man. And if he gets back in the league, I think he'll make some noise.
Oh my God, he will, because remember we had Terrell Brown from Texas, and he was on that championship team where me, you, and my brother Rob actually all connect on with the Vince Young. I know as soon as we mentioned Vince Young, Rob goes from 6 to midnight, you know what I mean? And I'm right there with him. I love Vince Young. Shout out to VY. But man, Terrell Brown was a cornerback on that team, and he was buried in that lineup. Like, he wasn't that great. He wasn't that good. And then as soon as Harbaugh came over, remember Carlos Rogers?
Yep.
He did nothing for the Redskins. He did nothing. Well, the Redskins at the time, Washington football team, Commanders, whatever they're called now. He did nothing. And he brought over, he was having a Pro Bowl career. Terrell Brown was a starter. Deshaun Goldson, he was like a 6th-round draft pick. He brought over Dante Whitner, Glenn Dorsey, like a bunch of like low-level talent.
Ted Ginn.
Ted Ginn Jr.
Speed.
Yeah, man, that. And then Frank Gore was great already. I feel like he had his best years with Harbaugh. He brought back, because he was in there actually. That lockout year was his first year, and Alex Smith was a free agent, and he said, "I'm bringing Alex Smith back," because his quote was like, "Alex Smith is tougher than a $7 steak." And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, all right, Alex, like, I'm gonna fuck with you, I'm gonna roll with you. And what he did is he gave him a playbook, and Alex Smith brought a bunch of people to, I think it was San Jose State, and they practiced that playbook. And I was like, damn, dude, like, he knew how to coach. I mean, man, it must run in the family, man, because John Harbaugh.
Imagine coaching against your brother in a Super Bowl, dude. That's fucking incredible.
Dude, that's got to be crazy. I can't imagine. Can you imagine? All right, picture yourself, Polo, coaching against Nico. You know what I mean?
I'd win. I'd beat my brother.
I love that.
I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
Polo's got that dog in him.
Yeah, that's just insane that fucking happened.
Yeah.
That's obviously never happened ever before, right?
No.
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure.
believe
Yeah.
so.
No. If there's a chance they could do it again.
Yeah, for
Or,
sure. I mean,
minimal, but
I don't want him to come back, but I mean, if he does, that'd be great. We might have touched on this beforehand when you watched the Super Bowl actually against the brothers with your
Dad and
pops,
uncle.
you know, dad and uncle and everybody around there. But do you have like that might have been your best memory, but do you have like a favorite like memory that you have most recently?
I would say besides like being at the office watching football here while we're working on Sundays, like in high school with my core group of boys then that like I just partied with and fucking hung out with every day before we had any real responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
When our asses used to lay around Sunday hungover on one of our fucking parents' living room floors and just watch football and bullshit with each other.
Mhm.
I miss that. Like I don't, obviously I don't get to do that nearly as much, but that's a fucking blast every single time. Even it makes the hangover fun, right? Like everybody going through it together and then having
It's ball with
something
the
to
boys,
do.
man.
And I really love fantasy football drafts too, because we get together in person with like that group of boys from high school. And it's just good to touch base with everybody and fucking let loose a little bit like the old days.
Yeah.
Probably those two.
I hate to admit it. I think I still do that from time to time. The only difference is it's my girl here instead of my buddies, but I'm rolling out of bed hungover. I'm turning on NFL Red Zone at 10 a.m. and, ordering a breakfast burrito while everything's getting rolling.
Well, it's different for you because like you're obviously Duran's a Cowboys fan. Stupid. But so you have to be prepared for it at 10 a.m. For me, like I get to sleep in a little bit more. So instead of waking up at 5, I get to wake up at 7. So I get to be cool. And so, I get to keep the party going because I drink on Sundays, obviously. So Mondays is when I feel it.
Yep.
Unless we're playing on Mondays or a Thursday, what's that happen?
You're past those days. They're fucking probably healthy for you every once in a while. I probably need some in my life, honestly, right now.
Yeah.
There you go, man. I mean, I know you're killing it in your industry right now, but every once in a while, like, man, if you can step away from a little bit, feel the hangover on Sunday.
No,
you know what I mean?
Dude, that shit's important. Talking about work just for a minute, like I've been in very ambitious entrepreneurial stages of my life where I'm literally sleeping 5 hours a night, 3 hours a night some nights, and just fucking working my ass off. But when I work out every day and I take Sundays to just go run around with a chick and fuck off a little bit, drink, whatever. When I come back Monday after that separation, I'm almost like a fucking dog that just got let off a leash. Like, and I have way more energy towards it as opposed to like running yourself till you really have no energy and you're not being productive at all. Like sometimes you do so much of anything that you're actually doing nothing. So definitely that time away is important. And like, I just went to Vegas last week and
nice.
I was actually there. We were doing some documenting of a UFC fighter through our company. And we only had a day of filming. We were there for 3 days. So the other 2 days we just completely fucked off and gambled till 5 o'clock in the morning and drank the free drinks and got massages from the ladies who give you massages while you're gambling, not the dirty massages.
Sure.
Damn it, Deshaun Watson.
All of us, like our whole team, 7 of us were that was good for us to take that break, So I definitely agree with what you're saying.
Yep.
That's awesome. Would I be able to ask who the UFC fighter was?
Raul Rosas Jr., the youngest UFC fighter ever. Yep. I trained with him for like 3-4 years, the past 3-4 years. He actually moved to Vegas recently, but just built a friendship with him, and his brothers and parents too are all pretty awesome people and fucking all incredible fighters. Like it's an amazing family, I'm sure. I think the UFC
we both wrestled at LC Allen.
Oh, really? Yeah, they wrestled out LC Allen.
Fighting this weekend.
Yep, you'll probably start to see like more content from the UFC, like showcasing his family. But it's very much like his dad gives me Habib's dad's vibes, and like the way fucking just those guys, him and his brother are just since day one, dude. They
Mhm.
probably grabbed their fist and put them right here and just started throwing combos. Like
Dude,
they're
I don't
made to
know
fight.
if it's like a Mexican thing, but like every time I wrestled, my dad was in my ear the whole fucking time.
Really?
Like,
See,
my
my dad,
was the one that bought me my sauna suit, knowing I needed to cut weight. Like, yeah, you need to cut 20 pounds in like 4 days. So you're gonna chase me in my truck. So I'm sitting there just like chasing my truck in a sauna suit. All right, yeah, now we're gonna take you to the track. You're gonna run stairs. So like, all right, cool. Did you lose weight? He brought me a scale. You know
That's
what I mean?
awesome.
Like my pops was in my ear the whole time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like I get that vibes from his pops as well, because I listened to the interview that you guys have. So and different interviews that he had, it's great to hear. It's awesome.
Takes
I
people to
definitely
push you.
for sure.
I always give a shout out to anybody from the Santa Rosa area, or like
Word.
anybody from California. Period. I think
Word.
that's awesome. That's why
Yeah,
I
I
was
would-
like a big Alex Smith guy, because he's from California, SoCal. He's he's a California kid.
I have known that kid since the first day I walked into NorCal Fighting Alliance and saw him training, and just, I mean, he was 14 years old beating up grown ass men like it was no problem
Mm-hmm.
on a daily basis for a couple hours a night, So I always knew I'd see him in this position, and his brother too. I guarantee will be there in no time.
Awesome.
But after like being behind the scenes with them for a day and seeing like some of their training, that we can't release it because it's actually like detrimental to how fight stuff
after.
and everything. But oh my God, I fucking really think these kids are going to be champions, like just based off their work ethic and their technique, their knowledge of the fight game and everything.
I love it.
It's incredible to watch.
I follow
think-
them on social media. Can't wait
Yeah.
to see what you guys put out with them. So I'll be looking out for sure.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys.
It definitely, like, it always is great when like you can just kill it. Like he did in the Contender Series. He went in there, he did his thing, he's killed it. But like the 49ers did, they killed it on Sunday, but it can't always be great. So I'm actually kind of curious, do you have like a memory or like a player that you absolutely hated, or like a memory that you're just like, fuck, dude, like kind of like, dude, that puts me in a bad mood when you think of the 49ers? So
the Alden Smith, I won't say him again because we already went over them, but he was just a fucking gigantic disappointment. But I will say I'm a gigantic Tom Brady fan because I'm a fan of winners. I've read his book, and fucking that made me fall more in love with the guy, and I just love his mindset no matter
California
what team he's on. Yeah, he's from San Mateo. He's from our backyard.
Sarah, I think Sarah High School.
I heard rumors, it was either last year or the year before, that instead of the Bucks, he might go to the Niners because he wanted to play for his hometown team.
Niners
And
said
I was beaming with excitement, man. And I remember texting my boy Dominic Carrasco, who's in my fantasy football league, who's like, he's my resource. You guys might be my new resource because you guys are incredibly football savvy. But whenever I have like questions about fantasy or whatever's going on, like I'll text him. So I sent him a screenshot and I said, yo, is this happening or what? And he said, not a chance. And then sent me some long description of why not. And I was like, I'm not going to fucking listen to you, man. We're getting Tom Brady on our team and winning a Super Bowl. And it didn't happen. So that got my hopes up and fucking brought him right down.
He might be still married if he went to the Niners, man. That's a lot of success.
I heard a quote. I don't know if
man.
it's true. But he said, like, now that I'm divorced, I'm fucking playing till I'm 70 or something like that. And,
Man,
Yeah.
I mean, you're MMA guys, so I don't know if you listened to like the watch along with Gronk, and Dana White actually slipped that it wasn't the 49ers, it's actually the Raiders.
the Raiders, yeah.
The Raiders, but John Gruden, he said, nah, I don't want that guy. I don't want him on my team. Like,
Yeah.
I'm rolling with David Carr. He's my guy. But it sucked because I was like, fuck, Jimmy G's playing good at this point. But
Mhm.
man, having a guy that has what fucking 5-6 rings at the time, I was like,
Yeah, that would have made a huge
I'll
difference.
have that guy, because like you can see him, like he still throws hard. He's still like overthrowing deep balls. It's like, fuck, dude, you're 45. It must be Eddie Guerrero on that pliability, because man,
Yep.
he's still looking good. He's still looking strong.
He's looking better than he looked his rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude, he's killing it.
Yep.
And it's Like I'm a big fan of him. He's a champion. I mean, we saw it. When was it? Monday. Came back, against the Saints, and fuck, dude, that was a game. I was like,
Hell
man,
yeah.
this game's fucking boring, man. They just fucking lost. I turned it off.
I turned it off.
I got a notification saying Tom Brady is marching. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. I watched it. I was like, fuck, he's about to win this game, ain't he? And he did.
It's almost a guarantee on a game-winning drive when the ball is in his hands. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, he's gonna do it again.
Yeah, more likely than not, it's gonna happen.
Yep.
And we play him this Sunday too.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Fuck.
The ultra competitor, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
I was thinking, because Purdy's starting, of course, this week, but imagine at his first start is going to be against Tom Brady. Imagine how fucking awesome that is. Like, if I was him, I'd make a speech in the locker room. Like, it's all of our dreams to beat Tom Brady. Everyone in this room has dreamed about that moment, and here it is. Let's
Drake
do it.
Greenlaw actually just said that. Actually.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be
and
the
it's
start of a
funny.
fairy tale story. I could see
Yeah,
it. It
I know.
has the beginning.
Yep.
He takes Tom Brady's thrones and goes and wins 8 Super Bowls. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I love it.
I hate to be that guy, but I need to bring up 2 more bad memories.
Okay.
Let me
Niners.
get a beer for this.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm gonna ask him. I'm assuming you watched the Super Bowl against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember where you were when that happened? I mean, Niners had a decent lead then, and then they, Tyreek Hill wasp play where he broke out, and it seemed like that was the beginning of the end. How do you feel about that? Who were you with? What were you doing when you were watching it?
I was at Tyler Graham's house.
Okay.
His family was there, about a family of 6 or 7, then a few of their family friends. And man, I just don't know why they abandoned the run that game. Like, all I remember is having clear frustrations in the second half of them abandoning the run when the run was working so well for them and they were winning that game. And it's a hard pill to swallow every time, right? Like, fucking, you want that so bad. And I just remember fucking just saying, fuck.
Yeah, I think it's worse than the Ravens one, because the Niners actually had the lead and it seemed like they were on the way to victory. So losing that one to me seems like it hurt more than the blackout game against the Ravens. But yeah, that's a tough one. Sammy Watkins beating Sherman. I think that pretty much sealed the deal there. But yeah, that was a brutal one.
We got karma for drafting Richard.
Yeah.
Talked all that shit, dude.
Yep. I mean, as a Niner, if I was a Niners fan, and especially knowing Kansas City the way we do now, I think that was their first real breakout. But you can never be comfortable with the lead with those guys, man.
No, Mahomes is a dangerous man.
Yep. The last one I got to bring up, and it's the newest one on this list, is I always say, is there a bad memory of an injury? We mentioned Navarro Bowman. We were at the game where he tore his ACL versus the Cowboys. Patrick Willis retired from injuries. Steve Young, concussions. But the newest one, Trey Lance versus Seattle just this year, broke his ankle. How do you feel about that one? Did you think that he was on the path to success? And where do you think he goes from here?
I have pretty mixed feelings about how he was starting out. But like, look at Justin Fields. He had a really rough first year and he's fucking killing it this year.
Even at the beginning of this season, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
He warmed up as the season got on.
He's finding his groove being that mobile quarterback, right? So I don't want to hate on Trey Lance. Hopefully he has a good future with them, right? He's got a big injury to recover from. So hopefully that's not a reoccurring thing coming up in the future. But I would have been fine if I was the GM decision maker during draft day. Maybe it does fire Jimmy G up. We saw that. He fucking has been performing well and he wanted his job back. I think that was pretty evident.
Yep.
But we could have got I guess we got McCaffrey. Things sort of worked out. But we could have got a fucking stud running back, stud DB, fucking Sauce Gardner. Or I guess that was the draft after, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. They surprised me with the draft pick, but I'm optimistic about the future with them. I like this league of mobile quarterbacks we're getting. It's fucking entertaining to watch.
And in that Shanahan offense, if he ever reaches
Right.
his potential, I think it would be insane.
Yeah, if he could get to be that agile, shifty, quick, dangerous quarterback with McCaffrey and Debo and Kittle and Ayuk, it should be fucking game over.
He's set up, man. He's set up.
Right.
And you guys got his rights for potentially 3 more years if you take the 5th-year option, but he's going to have this crew of guys around him. Debo just re-signed. McCaffrey's there for 3 more years, and he's on his way.
Yep.
Think about
McCaffrey
this,
was a fucking solid grab.
Too good.
He was. We gave up next year's draft for McCaffrey, and I love it. I've always been a fan of McCaffrey.
And I thought it'd take more. I was telling G the whole time it's going to take first rounds.
Yep.
And here's the thing. So say, and I hope, Brian, knock on wood, Brock Purdy goes at least 3-2 during the next, during these games. He kills it. He shows he's capable, number 2. And we have Trey Lance still. We have both those quarterbacks on rookie deals. We have a lot more money now to spend. I absolutely fucking love it. And I'm here for it because on every team, I feel like it's, the quarterback that's most expensive.
Especially
Dallas
Purdy
Cowboys.
on a seventh round rookie deal. You guys would be paying him pennies.
Yeah, the Cowboys. Dak has the most expensive contract on the team, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, then you can go down the line. We talked about the Raiders. Derek Carr, pretty sure he still has the same. He might be kind of.
Derek Carr's is way more friendlier than Dak's is, but if you see this year, Dak signed his contract. Amari Cooper leaves.
Yeah,
it's the way it goes. You can't pay everyone top of the market.
Yeah, from a monetary standpoint, it's a quarterback's league.
It is. Of course, we just said it earlier. Defense wins championships. Offense gets paid.
Chiefs had to let go of Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's exactly fucking that's the best receiver in the league, debatably. So fucking if it could happen to him, then everybody's on the chopping block.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. All right, that's enough bad memories for me, G. If you want to move on.
Yeah, that is enough, man. I cracked open a beer, but I guess it's bittersweet because I got to drink a new can of Cake Slayer. So shout out to Coopers for that. But yeah, man. So we kind of led into it with Trey Lance, Brock Purdy. Do you have any future expectations for this team? We can talk about, you can go from this season, and on.
You guys kind of got my brain ticking. If Brock Purdy comes out, balls out, like is undeniably great, right? Like think Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady, then that is a beautiful fucking scenario right there, right? So I guess as a fan, like I'm most hopeful for that because then we could essentially get rid of Jimmy and Trey Lance and get a nice bag and allocate that towards some other key players. Maybe a stud offensive line. I think that's always important in football. But I'm very optimistic with Trey Lance. I think there could be a really bright future with him if Brock Purdy is a 7th round pick for a reason. But you never know, man. You never know. You gotta ride stuff out. Like I'm thinking of Carson Wentz and the season the Eagles won the Super Bowl II. He got hurt week 9 or something along those lines. I don't know. But Nick Foles came in, balled out, and they won the Super Bowl, and they had to. I think Wentz could have came back for the Super Bowl, but they decided to stick with Foles because things were going so good. So that's sort of what I'm hoping for is a situation like that. I think that's what any fan can really hope for.
That happened with Brady and Bledsoe too.
Yeah.
Bledsoe could have came back. Brady stayed in.
Actually, he was like
Brady,
go ahead.
Brady, sorry. But Brady actually did get hurt, I think, one of the playoff games.
And then came in for one game.
And I think he win the conference game, right?
Yeah, he came in one more game.
Yeah. And then they're like, who do we start? Bledsoe or Brady. And they went with Brady. And I guess that guy's good, right?
Yeah. And I think Bledsoe at the time was the highest paid quarterback in the league. He had just got some brand new contract.
Oh, yeah. His contract was like today is like laughable. I think it was like
$1 million.
It was like 4 years, 16 mil or some shit.
Yeah.
Something ridiculously low. But yeah, man, that's something to think about for sure. Like I like that it's funny that people are kind of comparing that because you're the second person that I heard today kind of compare that to the Bledsoe.
That's what you have to hope for. You have
That's
to.
all you can do.
Yeah.
Yep. I had a quarterback turnover. Loved Tony Romo. He wasn't getting it done. Dak came in and pretty much forced his way into the starting lineup. And that's what you want, is seeing a quarterback where it's undeniable that you can't take him off the field. If Purdy goes on a roll here into the playoffs, into that, then it's going to be pretty hard to put someone ahead of him, even if Jimmy G, Lance gets healthy in the future. And it's going to be hard to take that guy off the field if he keeps winning.
I got a question
100%.
for you, Polo. Like,
What's
as
up?
a 49er fan. So they say that you can bring back, because Trey Lance, I saw him walking around. He's without his boot. He was throwing in. He wasn't suited up, but he was in street clothes. But he was throwing pregame. You know what I mean? He's throwing pregame. He's not. He hasn't played in since week 2. They show him, his little brother posted a video of him cutting on that broken ankle. And then you also have Jimmy G. So here's the thing. Do you bring back Trey Lance? But they also say that Jimmy G, he said that he's a possibility to come back in the divisional round or the conference championship. Which one would you rather be rolling with? The younger guy in Trey Lance, or Jimmy G that could come back in the conference championship? But that also means that Brock Purdy is playing well. So you have 3 options there. Which one are you going with? There's no wrong answer here because it's your
Give me
opinion.
Jimmy G, because he's got the most experience in that actual environment. And I wouldn't want to rush Trey Lance too quick just for the sake of like the hype of having him there, because I'd rather have him just wait out off season and fucking be extra healed, have his ankle be strong as shit. Is how I would play it. But yeah, we got to give Purdy his chance though. We got to see the Purdy era, man. Brock Big Cock Purdy. I'm here for it.
I agree with both of those. Let Jimmy G come in. He knows what he's doing. Let Trey Lance rest. Brock Purdy, if you're balling out, you're the backup. But I totally agree.
Really a winner too. I know he just got hurt, so this comes with a grain of salt. And he wants to keep his fucking job. If he gets to another conference finals or Super Bowl, that fucking guy better be winning that shit.
I know, yeah.
Better. He definitely does. I mean, the way I'm kind of thinking about it too is like Trey Lance, the way that they talked about it, they're like, even Kyle Shanahan said in his press conference after the Bears lost, I mean, I know it was a monsoon. I know like both teams look terrible. It's like whoever gets the last touchdown wins. And obviously it was the Bears. But he says that, Trey Lance is, we're still taking our hits, he's still learning. It's like, man, well, technically he's still learning because Brock Purdy's thrown more balls than Trey Lance, altogether. Definitely in college, he was a 4-year starter. And then you also have Jimmy G, who's coming off being extra cold because he got hurt just this week, and he's coming back in it. So it's super hard to say. In my opinion, I'm gonna go with Brock Purdy. If he gets you there,
if
he gets you there, hey, give me Big Cock Brock. You know what I mean? Have Jimmy G kind of sit on as quarterback number 2 for right now, and it's only on a technicality. So that's what he's got to tell himself. Say, hey, Mr. Italiano, I know you're known as a cook, but seriously, just take a back seat, help this kid out. We're gonna start him, but you're gonna be, if things don't go well, you're back in. And what did you do when you went back in for Trey Lance? You won us that game in Seattle. So or against Seattle, because we go at Seattle this year later on. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Purdy. You know what I mean? It's a pretty good decision in my opinion.
The chip on the shoulder is powerful too. Like Purdy, he's been bet against. So this fucking guy, he wants to win. It's just a matter of can he actually translate that to happening in a real life game.
Yeah. And one thing that I do like is that Big Trent Williams, the highest paid tackle in the league, who we have, is, man, I'm still waiting for that play this year for him to go in motion, because Big 71 going in motion, that's a scary ass sight. I mean, we said earlier, we listen to Pat McAfee. AJ Hawk said, "Man, I'd be scared if that guy's going in motion." And AJ Hawk
Oh yeah.
is a Ohio grown motherfucker, and I seen those guys. I wrestled with those guys. Those guys are straight monsters. They have zero fear. Those guys out in Ohio, and for him to like admit, like, fuck, dude, I'd be like timid. Like that big ass dude's going in motion and he's coming to take my head off. I'd be so fucking scared.
Yeah.
But Trent Williams said, and he's captain of the team. He said, "Man, you'd be thinking this guy was like a 15-year vet." The way he says it, like if you talk shit to him, he'll talk shit right back to you. He'll be in your face. He'll scream in your face, saying like, "I'm the guy. Fuck you, dude. This is what we're gonna do." He talks like he's like Peyton Manning. That was like similar to his quote. That gets me pretty confident. That makes me feel pretty happy inside. No pun intended. But it gets me excited about this kid because he also said this is probably the best Nick Bosa I've ever seen. And that was post ACL the very next year. And Bosa fucking killed it that year. He's killing it this year.
He's got good intuition.
Yeah.
Yep. I got one question. G, you could jump in on this too, because you're a Niners fan, but this is something I've never seen about just future expectations and stuff. This is going to be the third year that probably a head coach gets hired from one team. First, we had Saleh, McDaniels. Now it's looking, all arrows are pointing to D'Amico Ryans being the next guy. Is there anyone on the coaching staff you could see stepping up? I mean, that's what it kind of seems like is each year they have in this coaching staff, just one guy waiting to take it. And right now, I just looked up their coaching staff. I don't really see anyone. Got any thoughts?
I'm in agreement with you. I don't see nobody neither.
Yeah.
I got something for you guys.
Who is it?
All right. So when D'Amico leaves, there was an ex, and Polo, you're going to love this because he was on Harbaugh's staff. There was an ex defense coordinator that was for the 49ers. He was a head coach for the Bears. Vic Fangio.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's been there at camp because if you see his defense against mobile quarterbacks, especially against Pat Mahomes, type of that Andy Reid offense, he's actually the guy that, you know, stepped up to that. Stepped to the plate, held them to minimal points. They played great. And if you look at their defenses and you look at our defense now, we're still going to have, I mean, we have some free agents, but we extended the players that we need to. We extended, you know, Dre Greenlaw. We extended Fred Warner. We're going to extend Bosa. We Hufanga is still under contract, his rookie contract. Our corner, Travaris Ward, he's still there. Diamado Lenore, who was the other cornerback before Emmanuel Mosley went down. He's underneath rookie, and he still killed. He had a pick this weekend. He's still there underneath rookie. Like, we still have our defense intact.
Okay, Fangio. So he's not on the staff right now. He's a free agent, technically.
He's still
coaching.
a free agent, but he's a consultant.
Okay.
For the 49ers right now.
He's been a coach for the Niners before.
Yeah,
so,
he is. And he was at camp. He'll be at practices. He'll be in the press box with John Lynch. There's a reason why you see it, and it's John Lynch, and there's empty space. He's usually to the right.
Okay.
Or to the left. You know, like
he's going
to be the next in line.
I'm connecting the dots.
Yeah, they brought him in last year. They brought him in this year at camp. There's I can't find the picture right now, but I was sent a picture by one of the guys that we actually interviewed. Like, hey, look at who's at camp. And it was like Fangio taking notes and talking with, you know, D'Amico Ryans and whatnot. Like, D'Amico Ryans, like, yeah, I feel like he maintained and if not elevated Saleh's defense.
Okay.
This defense, because I mean, Helena Hufanga. I mean, I didn't expect anything from him. I thought that was gonna be a downgrade. This guy's a fucking dog. Like, I was on record saying, like, I don't know, man, 29, he's still suspect. And what does he do? He fucking lights shit up. He has a fucking Dude, he has a pick
Out of nowhere.
dude, coming out of nowhere. Look
Yeah.
at
We
Baby
follow the
Mama.
draft, and he was not a,
Another
top 10,
fifth round
15.
Prominent name.
Yeah.
like Polo's favorite player. He was a 5th round draft pick.
There you go.
You love that shit, man. You love when that happens.
There you go. Gee, that was my last question. If you got anything else, fire away.
Do you have a player on the team right now that you would like to call out, like saying step it up, or like besides George Kittle, obviously, and Deebo Samuel,
They're doing their
that you
thing.
would like to call out, or saying like step the fuck up? Like, do you have anybody on the team right now that you'd like to call out?
I'd like to see Ayuk have a similar year to his rookie year again, because he went off his rookie year and the numbers have dropped a little bit since. So we know he's capable. So he's the first one that comes top of mind.
What about on the
Ayuk.
defensive side?
Defensive side, our defense is fucking not bad, man. It's hard to hate on them, honestly. Our corners seem to get injured a lot. Is that
Yep.
That's the thing, right?
That's what I was looking at. Corners.
I'm gonna pick on the fucking strength and conditioning coach that works with the corners. Get them on a different program so we can fucking keep those guys healthy, man. That's all I can really hate on. But we got a good looking defense. I am confident in that. I think as a
For
whole,
sure.
Fred Warner is a really good middle linebacker and leader of the defense, and great energy on it. But as a whole, like, they have a lot more potential they could tap into.
Yep. I think Ward's playing great. If Lenore could step up, this is Super Bowl winning defense.
Is he the
I think he's the weak link.
linebacker?
Yeah, he's a weak link right now because
Gotcha.
we had Emmanuel Mosley, and Emmanuel Mosley was Darius Butler even said on the Man to Man podcast that Emmanuel Mosley is the most underrated corner, and he's one of the top corners in the league. And then he tears his ACL,
Then he's out. Yeah.
and I was like, "Fuck, dude, our corners were locked down." Like, this is the first time where we had depth at corner, and maybe I'm hoping it's maybe just a slow start for Diamo or Lenore.
Mhm.
They call him Demo. But I'm hoping that he just stays consistent what he did to this week, because this week he actually played really
Him
well
or
against Cal.
him or whoever, I don't know who it is, who starts opposite of
Javarius
Hufunga.
Ward.
No, Hufunga, the other safety.
Deshaun Gibson.
Gibson or Lenore, one of these guys that just need to step up and start playing some.
It used to be Jimmy Ward, who
Yeah,
Jimmy
yeah.
Ward,
Jimmy
in my
Ward's out.
opinion, one of the top defenders, but now he has to step up and play nickel, which is like fucking awesome. He's a free agent next year, actually. So
He's a stud.
yeah, I'm hoping to re-sign him. I'm hoping he, just stays consistent at nickel, because honestly, he's killing it now that he has two hands. Also had a pick this week as well. So
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the other guy, the other outside linebacker, they got to give us a reason to remember their names. Like, fucking, I
Yeah.
remember Fred Warner's names and fucking Joey Bosa's names, because those guys are making plays every single game.
it's Nick Bosa.
No, I'm sorry, Nick Bosa. My bad.
Yeah.
A lot of talking and rambling.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got to step it up.
Yep.
Well, Dre Greenlaw, he actually had a scoop and score this weekend. We extended him, so
You guys
Big
probably had
play
the best
Dre, big
linebackers in the league. Best linebacker duo in the league.
Aziz Al-Shair is the other one at 51. Let's see. I think Fred was a 3rd round. Dre Greenlaw was a 5th round. And I think, and I know Aziz was an undrafted free agent. So they're both flying around. They all want to take somebody's heads off. So I think we have one of the best linebacking cores in the league.
The
But
best.
they both have to match Fred Warner. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dre Greenlaw has been stepping it up. I think they're both on pace to have 100 tackles this year. And last time they had that was with your boys,
Bowman.
Patrick Willis and Navarre Bowman.
Yeah.
Fred Warner being a leader on that field, I'm sure they're all fucking transcending, and it's not something that comes overnight. But they'll all get better because of him for sure every single game.
Well,
Polo, I think that's it for us. If you want to go ahead and plug everything you got that you're working on, your website, social media, anything like that.
Hell yeah, guys. I really appreciate this. This was awesome to talk
course.
shop about football. I haven't got to do this in a long time, so it was a fucking blast for me.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram, Polo Greco, POLOGRECO. My creative marketing agency's Instagram is Fours Media, FOURS Media, and then our podcast is called Spitballers with a Z. And you can find that on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple.
And we'll put all the links below. Just click
Cool.
on through.
We're all over social media, so yeah, you guys will be able to find us. And I appreciate this, guys. This was a fucking blast.
Yeah, beautiful. G, anything else?
No, but we'll put this out. You'll see me shout out on Twitter for sure.
Cool.
I'll post everything around there. Our Instagram is under construction at the moment, so be on the lookout for that. But follow us on YouTube, on Twitter,
Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Anywhere you get podcasts, just give us a follow, subscribe, like, and share as always.